Hi, I'm Adriana Wright, and I'm here with Ms Dunston, and today we're going to talk about the late entry policy as well as the early release policy. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
So, what is late entry?
So late entry is an option for students who are in good standing and students who have all of their credits, the credits that they need, and they're not in danger of failing at all, right? So these students are, they can come to school late. They don't have a first period, so they come to school during their, right before their second period.
Okay, and why do we do this here at the high school?
Well, we do this to provide options. You know, the high school has to provide options, and that's what we do best, provide options for students. And students who, you know, are in good standing, they already have the amount of credits they need. They don't have to take another elective. They can come in late or leave early.
Okay, and is this kind of like a study hall or is it like a senior privilege? Like, how would you define it?
I would define it as, you know, a period that students can do those things. They can study, they can, you know, leave and go to work if, you know, because a lot of our students go to work, or they can, like you said, get some things ready at home. They don't have to be at school to get some things ready for that, for the day.
Okay, and what is our late entry policy?
So the late entry policy is students have to come in, they have to check in at attendance, they have to be here on time and enough for them to, you know, put their things away and get to their class. So we're not expecting these students to be late, right? Mm-hmm. We're expecting them to get here right on time because, you know, they're given this opportunity, and we're expecting them to, you know, rise to the occasion because that's what our students do. That's what Eagles do.
Exactly. So you mentioned about being on time. What
Yes.
time is on time, just to clarify?
Right. So students who get here for the 8:18, they need to be here prior to 8:18 to give them enough time to get into their class, to go to their locker if need be, and get to their class by 8:18.
And what is what would happen if you get here at a time like 8:16 or something like that? Would you still sign in normally, or how does that work?
They still have to check in through attendance no matter what.
Okay.
So every time they get in, they check in through attendance, they sign in there, and then they get to their class. If we're finding that these students are getting in later than when their class starts, that privilege may be taken away from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is early dismissal? Like, what is that?
So early dismissal or early release is right after seventh period. So students can leave right after seventh period. Their eighth period, you know, they have off. Now, some students we find have lunch at that seventh period. They have the option of either staying for lunch or leaving prior to lunch.
And what is the exact policy, just like there's a policy for late entry, what's the policy for early release?
Early release, those students need to sign out so we know that they're leaving, and they need to leave campus.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do these students get home? Are we providing transportation for them, or?
So we don't provide transportation for early release or late entry. Students have to be able to provide their own transportation.
Okay.
Yep.
And just like I said with the first one, why do we allow early release?
I think we allow that as well as an option for students who are working or students who, you know, need to leave school for other reasons. If they have done what they're supposed to do, they have all of their credits, they don't need to take that extra class for electives or anything, they're allowed to have that early release with parent permission.
Okay. And what happens if a student doesn't leave for early release? Like, say they're supposed to leave after 7th, but they stay for 8th for a meeting or something. Does anything happen?
Oh, no, they're allowed to do that. Some students may stay for extra help. They may stay to do some work. They may stay to meet with teachers. They may stay because they're involved in sports and clubs. That's okay as well.
So what is the process for a student when they come in for late entry? Like, what do they do?
So a student who comes in for late entry must enter through the front doors.
Okay.
They must go to the attendance office and sign in.
Okay. And when they sign in, is it like a binder, or do they just swipe their ID? How does that work?
So they sign in at the binder, and they also swipe their IDs as well.
Okay. So if a student were to come in at like 8:15, what would that exact process be to get them checked in and get them to class?
Okay, so if a student came in at 8:15, they still need to sign in, check in at the attendance office. Say for instance, they came in and they didn't check in. They would not be considered in school, right? They would be considered absent from school.
So what would happen if a student were to come in and the sign-in sheet isn't there? What do they do?
So if a student came in, the sign-in sheet wasn't there, they need to go into the attendance office,
Okay.
right? So they can check in there. Say, for instance, no one was there. They need to check in at the front desk. So Mrs. Reed can go ahead and get the attendance clerk, Ms. Stoffer, so that that student can check in and be present in school.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. I'm Adriana Wright, and I talked to Ms. Dunston about the late entry and early release policy. Thank you, and back to our host.
You're welcome.